Life for All presents Daily Food Series Genesis, the Beginning. Title of Book 2, The Creation of Man by Pedro. Week 1, The Restoration of the Earth, the third day and the fourth day. Sunday, Christ, the rising sun from on high. Read with prayer. Through the tender mercy of our God, with which the Dayspring from on high has visited us, to give light to those who sit in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. Luke chapter 1, verses 78 and 79. Yesterday, we talked about the creation of the lights that govern the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars. In the spiritual realm, Christ is the sun who illuminates and governs us. In the first chapter of Luke, we read, "Through the tender mercy of our God, with which the Dayspring from on high has visited us, to give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace." Luke chapter 1, verses 78 and 79. These verses are a quotation from the prophecy of Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, concerning the coming of Christ as the rising sun from on high. In the 8th chapter of the Gospel of John, we read about the incident in which a woman was caught in the act of adultery. The scribes and Pharisees brought her to Jesus and asked him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Now Moses, in the law, commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say?" John chapter 8, verses 2 through 5. They did this to have something to accuse him of, as the question that they asked was very difficult. If Jesus said that they could stone the woman, they would challenge him, asking how he, who preached love, could command her execution. Moreover, if he said to let her go, they would accuse him of transgressing the law of Moses. Jesus, very wisely, stooped down, continued writing on the ground with his finger, and said nothing to them. As they persisted with the question, Jesus then stood up and said to them, "He who is without sin among you, let him throw a stone at her first." John chapter 8, verse 7b. After this answer, those who heard it, being convicted by their conscience, went out one by one, beginning with the oldest even to the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. Verse 9. The older ones were the first to leave because they had sinned more, having had more years in sin. None of them could claim to be without sin, so they concluded they could not throw the first stone. Finally, Jesus said to the woman, "Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you?" John chapter 8, verse 10b. She replied, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said to her, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Verse 11. Immediately after this episode, the Apostle John records, "Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." John chapter 8, verse 12. Jesus is the sun that came to earth and illuminated those who wanted to stone the adulterous woman. All were enlightened and left. However, Jesus is not only the light of the world, he is also the light of life. To receive the light of the world, it is enough to be in Jesus' presence and hear what he says. Nevertheless, if after being illuminated by the light of the world, as happened with the woman's accusers, we feel ashamed and leave, we miss the opportunity to receive the light of life. After being illuminated by the light of the world, we need to follow Jesus to obtain the light of life. The light of the first day, the diffuse light, makes us recognize that we have sinned, but the light of the fourth day gives us life. Therefore, we need to follow the sun closely, even though it burns and scorches, for it will give us life. Even if the word exposes us, let us follow it closely. It is worth it to be illuminated. The light of the world corresponds to the light of the first day, which illuminates those who are in darkness. However, if anyone wants to be healed and begin to walk in the light, he must follow the Lord. Whoever continues following the Lord will have the light of the fourth day, the light that heals and governs. God wants to govern our lives through Christ, so we must remain in His presence. Perhaps we say we have always been, quote unquote, our own masters and do not want to be governed by Christ, so we flee. If we act this way, we will gain only the light of the world, the light of the first day. Yet, if we are willing to be governed by Christ, even if we do not like it, we will have the light of life. Following the Lord is not pleasing to our ego, to our soul life. Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 and 25. That is why most Christians are far from the experience of being governed by Christ. But we want to be different. We want to allow the Lord to expose our condition, for we need His healing and government, even if it does not bring pleasure to our souls. This is part of our experience of Christ as the Son, who illuminates, heals, and governs us. The moon represents the church, reflecting the light of the sun to govern the night until the sun appears in fullness. After His resurrection, Jesus ascended to heaven, but this sun will return. After Jesus' departure, we began to live in a great night, which is governed by the moon, that is, by the church. The church governs the night by reflecting the light of the sun, the light of Christ. Today, we must govern over everything. Look at the world situation. It seems that everything is rapidly moving toward the end times. Who is governing this? Who is setting the rules? It is the church. It is the pace of the church that is accelerating the world situation because it governs. Thanks be to God. The dawn has already begun for us, as the dewdrops are already falling. Our teenagers have stepped forward to be the army the Father promised to the Father. Psalms 110, verse 3. Therefore, let us not sleep like the others. We are not of the night. We are of the day and are waiting for the day to appear. This day will not catch us by surprise, for we live here to do the will of God.